Hey, look, Jerry gave me my first full-time job,
Wow.
which was in Memphis. Within a few days of being mentioned, maybe I'd been mentioned a time or two before in the Observer, but this was like a really strong plug.
Right.
I think I was said some people considered to be the best no-name independent wrestler out there, and I got an offer for 3 jobs. One in Kansas City, where Eddie Gilbert, I don't know if Eddie was going to be booking or if it was Tommy booking. One with the Foley's wasn't really a full-time job.
Right.
And then there was the Jarretts, and I just thought Jarretts have the best track record.
Sure.
My friend Brian Hildebrand, who we've talked about before,
Yeah.
he was known better as Mark Curtis to WCW fans. He just loved Memphis wrestling. You know, he just loved everything about it, the studio, the feel, the live takes and all that. And I thought that'd be the best decision. And it was. You know, we've gone into, and I'm not here to talk about my trials and tribulations in that territory as much as I am to just say how thankful I am that Jerry Jarrett hired me. And over the years, not only hired me in Memphis, but even more importantly, I think, when he purchased the World Class territory from Fritz von Erich, that opened up the door for me to go there. That and World Class was where I received so much positive attention, caught the eye of people, and I don't know if any of that would have been available to me had it not been for Jerry, not only buying the territory, but thinking enough of me and gorgeous Gary Young to bring us down there as a tag team. So he's a guy who not only hasn't left an enormous footprint on wrestling, but on a personal note, when the last time I saw him at the Top Guys Weekend, he pulled me aside and he said some of the kindest words to me. He really did.
He's a great man.
Yeah. And I'm so glad. I know he and Jeff had a falling out, you know, over business. And that was long since smoothed over. Luckily, because you only get one chance to spend time with those grandchildren. And so I feel really privileged to have known him. He talked to me for over an hour, I think, when TNA was becoming a reality.
Okay.
And this was after 9/11, and he said that studies had shown, I can't point to which studies, that people were willing after 9/11 to spend a little more on things that made them happy or made them comfortable. So people, for example, might opt for the regular ice cream as opposed to the low-fat versions, or so. You know, that's just one example. And he believed that people would pay $9.99 or whatever the price was per week to watch good wrestling without commercials. Now you can debate whether that proved to be the case, but you can't debate that TNA was a solid alternative and got so many people their start. You know, we could tie Dixie Carter in along with that, but between Jeff and Jerry and Jeff and Jerry and Dixie, man, did they put a lot of people on the path to stardom. So nothing but respect for Jerry. My deepest condolences go out to Jeff. You know, Jeff and I texted back and forth because Jeff and I are about the same age. I think we're maybe 3-4 months apart, and we kind of grew up, you know, with each other.
Yes.
In every territory except Continental, I think Jeff was in. So we crossed paths so many times, and that was when I was 23.
Right.
So I've known Jeff for 34 years, and therefore known Jerry for 34 years. So just sending out all my best to a true wrestling pioneer. Now, when I would look at Jerry's old promo photos, how in the world did this guy get over?
Right.
But guys like Robert Fuller would say he just had that fire. He had that fire to the point where his lack of physique worked for him because he was such an underdog. He was a good-looking young man. He would fight up from underneath. Memphis was known as a great heel factory. You know, they always had the heels coming in and out. You had to on a weekly basis. So I never saw Jerry Jarrett in the ring, never saw him on tape, but man, I guess he made quite an impression on the people who did know him.
Absolutely. Jerry Lawler wrote in his book that he was like a rock star. You know, he was the good-looking baby face that got all the ladies to come to the show, and innovated the scaffold match. And I mean, just a who's who of folks who came through. Yourself, The Undertaker, Austin, The Rock. I mean, it's unbelievable the amount of folks who went through Memphis, from Hogan and Savage, and I mean, on down the line.
I think, I believe I was only at Jerry's house one time.
The big house?
The big house. Have you been there?
I have not. He didn't live in the big house.
Okay.
Yeah.
But wherever I was, in his office, he had an original Lawler piece of artwork. And it was Jerry, it was Jackie Fargo, and it was Tojo Yamamoto, who Jerry was so loyal to over the years. I mean, well past the point where, Tojo, he was down on his luck, and Jerry kept him around, kept him employed, and was really loyal to his friends. So thank you, Jerry Jarrett, for everything you did. I think there's hundreds of wrestlers, past tense, who are thankful for what Jerry did for their career.